Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are wrapping up the Women's Month, that's month of March, and I thought we'd wrap it up with a bonus conversation. I know this year we're breaking the bias. A couple of years ago we're leaning in, then the wage gap was a question, and all these other different conversations. You can never tire to empower us women, right? And you know that's part of my purpose for the YouTube channel, is to make sure that we know better and we do better. Dr. Carol Sechimpi, you're the country director for where we are actually, Mariestopes. So they've been to the hospital before. So okay. This is not the hospital. This is the admin end of things, isn't it? The office.
Thank you, Flavia. I am excited to be talking to fellow girls.
Right.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Yes, so my name is Carol. People call me Dr. Carol.
Yes.
My name is
I
Carol.
also ideally say Dr. Carol.
Yes,
I'm used to it.
And really to say who I am, I think first of all, I'm a Christian. I'm a God-fearing person. I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 4. That makes me a wife as well. They didn't come from heaven.
We know it's not sometimes obvious,
yes.
but yes.
So I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I'm a business person. I really like business. I like to make things happen. And I'm a leader. And I'm a doctor. And I'm a manager. Yes, I run.
So you're a real doctor. We're not just calling you doctor.
Yes, I'm a medical doctor. And I did about 10 years of clinical practice before I transitioned into this kind of work, and most of my years were spent doing HIV. I think my HIV clients can recognize me. I looked after them for a long time, and it was very satisfying work. Yeah, but new problems came, new inspirations came, and here I am.
I was about to ask the other side when you're doing the, with the patients on guard, and this end, which includes more of the admin, which one sparks you a bit more?
Patients are different. You get satisfaction by dealing with individuals. It's a one-person story. You deal with them, and you know you've made your contribution. My work in public health is different. I know I impact people with my work, but I impact them by the masses. And sometimes it's so easy to get lost in the paperwork and the boardrooms. But when I have a moment to go to the field and spend time with these people for whom we plan and for whom we program, then it's really, really fulfilling as well.
Right.
Mariestopes is really a public health organization. And as you know, our mission is children by choice and not chance. And people find that intriguing.
When I drove in, it was literally on the children by choice, not chance.
And not chance.
Yes.
And when you think about it, that is simply the definition of family planning. Family planning means you decide when to have your children. And why do we do this? We do this because we know that when women choose the number and timing of their births, in terms of healthcare, they are safe. Yes. They don't die, they can breathe, they take better care of their children, their relationships with their spouses are better. But we also do it because we know then we empower them to do more. So that's where we come at it. Right. The primary issue is maternal mortality. When women have unplanned pregnancies, they die. And then the secondary goal is women empowerment. When they can take charge of their reproductive life, then they can be empowered to, to flourish to their fullest potential. What
comes with the choice also is that responsibility of saying, I will do A, B, C, D to make sure I make my choice stick and work. Over the years, you're a doctor and all these other responsibilities, and you're mom of 4.
Yes, 4 angels, 4 beautiful girls.
I'm like, I have eye bags and it's just one child. How are you not stressed? Or maybe you are, you just learned how to mask it well.
Children are amazing. First of all, this is my experience. I think more than one child is easier to manage than one. Because when it's one child, they cling on to you, they look to you for entertainment, for interaction. Yeah. When they have a sibling, they engage each other. So that's the first thing.
You might have just helped me get a reason. Really?
Yes. But also what I'm learning, because I have teenagers now, my first is 17. And when I look back, I'm like, I thought it was hectic having a 1-year-old. It is hectic having a 17-year-old. Oh. And my daughter is an angel. She's really a good girl. Yeah. But all the things you worry about, all the things you anticipate, it's really quite stressful. You have to put in time to sit with her and make sure you're imparting, what you want in her head. Otherwise, all of these sources.
We've said there's too much information.
We'll do that, but we can do this. We've got the ways to do these things.
Right.
We can balance it out.
So I'm going to ask everyone's question quickly so that we get that out of the way. The balance question. I can tell you right now, and I don't have the experience or the years that you have, but I'm telling you that right now, there's no such thing as balance. For me. Because every time I try to balance, when things are heavy and you fall, it's me who falls.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's just me who hasn't figured it out, but something has to give. If I'm doing extra hours at work, I'm definitely not seeing my child as often.
Yes.
If I'm choosing to spend time with my son and put away my phone, that's emails I'm not replying, that's calls I am not taking. And if I decide to go away with my husband and spend time with him, then someone, there's always something that's suffering. And what I told myself, maybe someday the guilt will go off. Is that what happens?
Yes, for me, I have accepted that I'm not superwoman,
Okay.
and I'm really not trying to
That's
be
a good
that.
start.
Yes, so once I articulated that, then I set my priorities. My first priority is my family.
Wow.
My second priority is my work. And I think the third thing is to be organized.
But hold on, you actually believe that?
Yes.
Your first priority is family?
Is my family.
And your second is work?
Is my work. But then I'm organized.
Yes, yes.
So in being organized, I expect to do my work from Monday to Friday.
Yes.
And then be with my family on Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
Any sneaks in between?
Sip in, yeah, because that happens.
They're really sneaks,
It
yes.
happens.
So that's how my priorities are organized, and I try to do my best. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you can choose whether you want to sleep 12 of them or sleep 6 or 7 of them. For a long time, I struggled with exercise. I can't find time to, and then a friend of mine said, "Kara, just wake up 1 hour earlier and go and do your exercise." So, I wake up early and go and do my exercise. Then I realized I can do 6 months without stepping in my kitchen. And I have married from a Uganda man. Then I decided, what, I'll just...
The guilt.
I'll wake up early, be the first person in my kitchen.
Right.
Make him breakfast, go and exercise. So the man is happy.
You've also exercised what you want to do.
The brain is on and I'm able to go to work. So it's about being intentional. Right. But also to comfort the younger girls that with time. So I'm able to do this because my children are older.
I was about to sneak it in and say at Liam's age,
Yes.
When I wake up thinking I've woken up an hour earlier, you hear someone and you're like, why are you up at 5?
Exactly.
But because they're much younger and they don't have that grasp of, I need to be alone.
Yes, but we should have grace for ourselves. We should have grace. I think for me, I was talking to a young lady, one of my daughters, recently. I said, just articulate in your head who you want to be. Okay. And don't forget that person. So I want to, she likes to do hair and things like that. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a business person. Don't forget that. So when you fall in love, get married, don't forget that you wanted to be this person. So if you have that vision, then you will integrate. If you don't have a vision, it's so easy to get carried away. But when you look at us who have grown over time, we forget these years. Yeah. Those years, those sacrifices have to be made. There's a time to be fat and slow. There's a time to have your babies. There's a time to not be in shape. There's a time.
For everything.
For everything. So when you're going through it again, they say it is really sad to go through life and not be present. So if you're in the stage of having your babies, you be there. Have your babies. Have them.
Give that phase.
Give it time. Yeah, enjoy. If it's 4 months of maternity leave, I see new mothers moving around with their babies at 2 weeks. Like, you be at home, breastfeed, be present.
The FOMO, the fear of missing out. You're like, I must be everywhere.
No,
not necessarily. Yeah.
Yes. So if we articulate what our race is, and then we run it and give ourselves grace. Grace as we go through it, I think we'll get there.
Wow. I imagine the times were different. I chose, I think I actually chose, even if it was unconsciously, to take my career further before thinking a relationship, something stable, something big. And so there was that bias of a girl cannot be doing that. You can't be rising in rank, in education. You can't do that because 2021, you should be looking at a suitor. And so for me, the bias was to prove to people that I will get there. I will do it. It's just that. This is also equally, yes, it's equally important to me. And sidebar, she said that her success is my child, my oldest, can get into university, is doing something that I am proud of them doing. I don't think I've had a woman say that as their success point. Never.
So Flavia, bias is everywhere. And in my experience, unfortunately, it starts at home. It starts at home, like, you know, we like to blame the workplace and everywhere, but when you look back in the average home, you find different opportunities being given to children of different gender. The expectation of children of different gender is different.
Yes.
I'm a mother of girls only, and you know, when you have the third girl and the fourth girl,
they're like, you
begin to receive less flowers, but like, are you going to do it again?
Come on.
So the bias is really within our community. So for me, I have experienced it because I'm part of the average community. But I think the bigger bias is in our own mind.
Okay.
If you ask me, one of the biggest perpetrators of bias against women is women.
Yes, that I believe. I've
it's
experienced
your mother who pushes it at
believe.
home. It is your mother-in-law who's going to push it in that arena.
Yes.
It is that tough female,
your friends.
Your friends.
Your clique, your girlfriends.
Yes. Your female boss who you have hair like hers. It's not going to work.
Why you wearing the same shoes?
Yes. So that's a big problem for us girls that we need to address and limit the bias that we push against ourselves.
But what we're doing is what you're describing. It's that from the home, if I'm raised to believe, why is so-and-so's daughter looking better than me? I'm not going to get into a workplace and believe that Dr. Carol should look better than me.
Yeah.
So we're doing this cycle.
Yes.
But because for me, when I heard that theme, I was like, but we can't just break the bias by just saying we're breaking the bias.
We need to start with our own mind.
Yes.
And if you have, you see, if you empower a woman in her mind, if you empower a girl child, then she'll stand up against the biases. You know, there are so many biases. Like we had Black Lives Matter, so it was the black skin. Next, it is being female.
Yes.
So all of these things are there. But the biggest strategy is to empower the mind.
And is that education, exposure, which one?
Both.
Both.
Education is critical. Education really opens up the mind. Now, there's a whole debate about the type of education. Yes, that's a whole debate.
Yes.
But education does really open up the mind. And education gives you piecemeal exposure, but really have to expose, you know, so that our girls have a perception that is bigger than just the immediate environment. The world truly is a global village. And for me, the hallmark I tell my friends is, someone sneezed in China and we caught the flu in Kampala.
Yep.
So if you want to argue...
And shut the whole world down.
If you want to argue about the fact that the world is a global village, then there you go. So we have to expose them so that they have broad exposure.
Yes.
We really must free their minds. We must tell them, yes, you can do it. Yes, you are the best. Tell them you are beautiful. So that next time someone tells them they're beautiful, they don't just fall over.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Yes. So if we can do the work to break the bias in their mind at home, and then we build that up elsewhere where we work and where we interact, then we stand a good chance. Now, in terms of notes to throw for me, there are a couple of things. The first thing, my appeal to fellow girls is, you're in charge of your own destiny. Don't hand it over to anyone. So while you're there saying, oh, the government come and help us and all these things, you're in charge of your own destiny. The second thing is, be prepared. Girls, be prepared. When opportunity comes, and we provide, you know, you say equal opportunity employer.
Yes.
And then when you advertise for the most technical role, you get 200 men and half a girl applying. The girls are not prepared. So we have to be prepared for that opportunity. And then we have to put our best foot forward.
Exactly.
So because I think there's a lot of work that's being done for the system to support us, but the system can only support those who are prepared.
And yeah, to a certain extent.
Yes, the system can only support those who are prepared. Yeah. And you know, if we have empowered them in the mind and we've given the appropriate preparation, education, and exposure, I think girls can compete favorably.
Yeah.
And in fact excel.
Yeah, because we're not, okay, we also need to go away from saying, oh, the doctor, is she? You know, it's a doctor. Do you know what I mean? It's an engineer. Let's not engineer, because maybe when they were teaching the modules, they said, okay, this module, it will be for only men.
And it's a nurse, and it's a he, and it should be okay.
Exactly. Yes. So let's not look at these things and say like,
yeah.
But you know, I mean, the girl should be trained for this and the boy should be trained for that. I remember when I saw my son play around with the remote and batteries, and I told my husband, he's an engineer. And he says, no, he can be anything he wants, please. Yeah. So even when he sees me holding lipstick and tries to hold it, and I say, these are for, he's like, please.
It is well.
Let him see what it is.
And make up his mind.
Yeah. He might get a chemical someday and create something. Why are you limiting it to boy, to girl? And I didn't realize even I had the biases. Can you imagine?
So that's a very good example.
Yeah.
Of the biases start with us.
Yes.
They start with us, yeah.
Wow. So Mariestopes launched for every stage of a woman.
So our clinics are really quite open.
Good.
And the open service have been embraced by people. We have a decent turnover. But we remain focused on our core, which is sexual and reproductive health. So while you're working with your coughs and flus, we'll ask you, so when was your last period? How are things going? Yes, you know,
I like
what are your fertility intentions? Have you considered this? Because we know that
fertility intentions?
Yes. It could, so if I was talking to someone who, because the data tells us average sexual debut is 18. Meanwhile, this time, because of COVID, that 18-year-olds are in S5. But let's assume they are going to university.
Yes, I was say 18 S6 vacation into.
No, the average 18-year-old is in S5 now.
Oh no,
it's a concern. So I would ask, what are your fertility intentions? She started sex. She's in first year. She said, I need to finish this 4-year degree.
University, yes.
And then they marry me. And
then I have kids.
Yeah,
yes.
But of course, the conversation which most parents don't want to acknowledge is that between the wedding and
some things are happening.
A lot of things are happening.
Of course.
So she will tell me that, and then we will have a conversation of how to make sure she achieves.
She's safe.
She achieves that goal.
Wow. Technically, we're in her office, so we have to leave. Bye.